So we're here this afternoon after a thoroughly enlightening, full coalition sarcasm intended, press conference, misinformation dump led by the governor and, well, the rest of the denizens of what we affectionately refer to as Halitosis Hall here. All credit, of course, to Rudy Cheeks. I'm outside with the, and I say this with love, one of the ringleaders of this merry band, who are here on a deadly serious subject, and of course, that's to defend the rights of the homeless. Senator Mendes, there is a Bill of Rights for the homeless that was passed amongst great controversy several years ago, but should be well known to all, isn't it?
Unfortunately, it's not, and we were the first state to actually pass that, and I think this administration has failed all those who wanted to uphold and believe that Rhode Island should not have anyone freeze to death this winter, because that's currently what is exactly going to happen.
A successive wave of journalists, including myself, interrogated the governor about the timing. I pointed out the fact that there's been a consistent flood of federal aid to Rhode Island, starting with small business relief and the CARES Act, on to Rhode Island rent relief, now on to, well, this enormous lump of dough that could actually be used to save lives. Yet the state, number one, refuses to accept the fact that they behaved irresponsibly and sat on all that money for extended period of times while private citizens suffer egregiously. And they're still talking about study commissions, and astonishingly enough, they're talking about having to resolve some of this during the general session. Can Rhode Islanders wait that long?
Absolutely not. We shouldn't have to. It is way too little, way too late. We received the American Rescue Plan Act passed 9 months ago. Advocates and service providers were talking 10 months ago about how this state could be prepared for the winter. They were not heard, they were not listened to, and they have the audacity now to talk about things that they should have done 10 months ago or longer.
This crisis, extended crisis of the pandemic, has now reached in excess of a year and a half. The needs of Rhode Islanders were serious and unmet prior to the pandemic. I called it, when I said talk to the governor, I called it paralysis through analysis. Again, I got to keep it clean. What would you call it?
Cruelty, incompetence, and the performance that we just saw. All the things they talked about would not even begin to be enacted until they convene, which is not going to be till the beginning of January. And people are freezing right now. There are moms in their cars right now, and they could call, Speaker Shikarchi could call a special session and we can start addressing this, but they refuse to. And they're sitting on the money we gave them to handle this problem, while working class people in Rhode Island, Rhode Islanders who deeply care, are left to do what we always do: take care of our neighbors and subsidize their cruelty.
A tragedy occurred this weekend, what appears to be a thoroughly unnecessary, due to contractor incompetence and government hands-off. A death took place this weekend, and it has brought Rhode Island government, at least for the moment, seemingly to its knees. I call Rhode Island short attention span theater. That death is cruel and tragic, and we pray for their family, but at the same time, in the media and as activists, we act upon it. Is it as harmless as short attention span theater, or is it a cruel, intentional, studied indifference?
It's cruel indifference. We shouldn't have to do this. We shouldn't have to beg our government to care. We shouldn't have to remind them that no one should freeze to death this winter. We shouldn't have to remind them that it is humane and decent and right to make sure that no one freezes to death this winter, because that is the very least we can guarantee Rhode Islanders.
So, what are your asks from ordinary Rhode Islanders right now? Folks who might not be political, folks who might be waking up to a lot of this. You know, a lot of Rhode Islanders are under their own stress and their own. It's a difficult time for many of what and I include myself in what I call the great unwashed. Those of us out here in the field suffering.
Yeah.
What's your ask of ordinary Rhode Islanders, both with respect to this encampment and also what they can do to become activists in their own right?
Rhode Islanders have been doing what they've always been doing: caring. We see nurses waking up every day and going taking care of their patients, which, by the way, many are unhoused, who are coming to them with wounds from the weather. We are seeing teachers show up day after day, even in the face of the neglect of this administration, and taking care of their students, some of which come to classroom from being in cars and unhoused. Rhode Islanders have been doing mitten drives and food drives, and especially during the pandemic, just extremely, overwhelmingly compassionate. And I anticipate they will continue to do that, and they will continue to show up in solidarity because they know this is cruel and unnecessary. So Rhode Islanders are the fuel that keep me going, because I know we deserve a government that represents the values that we have.
Senator Cynthia Mendes, she is part of the, where I'm calling it Encampment, I've taken the liberty to call it Occupy State House. My words, not theirs yet. You folks, you can also join them. You can come down on every evening. There's a meeting and some speechifying and some songs and some solidarity.
6 o'clock.
There's a lot being done here that you see, and a lot being done that you might not. But all in all, come down, support these folks, even if it's just to say hi, even if it's to drop off some coffee. As importantly, support the community organizations that already exist, that are working very often on their own dime, their own time, to support homelessness and to the folks who are living on the streets. We are the Coalition, loud and proud, as always, outrage, poor and free, civilly disobedient media. You'll see us. We were on hiatus for 2 days. We're back. See you soon. Thank you.